Good evening, Trump's family. Welcome back to my channel. Have a good night, everyone, and God bless you. Alright, without further ado, let's get into the news. Now there's two big potential war stories. So I'm going to start with China and then I'll go into Russia. Now Taiwan's Foreign Minister Joseph Wu has recently stated that he believes China will attack by the year 2027. However, United States General Mike Minihan is convinced it will be much sooner. On Friday, General Minihan sent out a memo to his troops declaring that his gut tells him China will attack Taiwan in 2025. Minihan stated Chinese President Xi Jinping secured his third term and set his war council in October of 2022. Taiwan's presidential elections are in 2024, and will offer Xi a reason. United States presidential elections are in 2024 and will offer Xi a distracted United States. Xi's team reason and opportunity are all aligning for 2025 war. So due to this reasoning, General Minihan is letting the Pentagon and the US military know to be prepared for war with China. So it looks like top brass at the Pentagon is readying the US military to go to war with China, should they attack the island of Taiwan. Now who the president will be in 2025 is going to make a huge difference on whether this war is amplified or deflected. And that's because the United States will be pulled in as the biggest dog in the fight. Former President Donald Trump has also taken a similar tone on Russia by stating through weakness and incompetence, Joe Biden has brought us to the brink of World War III. We're at the brink of World War III, just in case anyone doesn't know it. As president, I will bring us back to peace through strength. Trump further bashed Biden by saying I would have a peace deal negotiated within 24 hours. You could make a peace deal. You could make a deal for both right now 24 hours, that deal could be done. That deal is waiting to be done. But there's nobody to do it. Now, in my opinion, Trump could be using war as a way to amplify himself in 2024, because based on polling, people do see President Trump as a stronger figure than they do Biden. And so if this war with Russia continues to amplify, and it looks like we are heading to war with China, then the people may go for a stronger leader. But this is just all what's in the news right now. But let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think is going to happen with China? What do you think is going to happen with getting a peace deal between Russia and Ukraine? While the chances of Trump winning against Biden in 2024 seem to be increasing, another strong opponent stands in his way. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida has yet to make a final decision on running in 2024. Now, during a campaigning event, Trump stated if he runs, that's fine. I'm way up in the polls. He's going to have to do what he wants to do, but he may run. I don't think it would be a great act. I do think it would be a great act of disloyalty. Because, I got him in. He had no chance, his political life was over. So basically Trump is saying DeSantis is a very good governor, but he was only made governor because of his endorsement. Now the governor of New Hampshire, a Republican, had just the opposite to say. Chris Sununu said Trump will lose and DeSantis is definitely gearing up to run for president. Sununu believes once the Santons announces Trump's polls will tank and DeSantis will rise and ultimately beat Trump to become the next president of the United States. Now, so far we have no indication of whether Joe Biden is running in 2024. And if Kamala Harris will remain his vice president. Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts says she's all in on Biden running for office in 2024, but refused to say whether she wants Kamala Harris to join him. But she said I will leave that up to Biden, but perhaps this is Elizabeth Warren's way, a lot of publicly telling the country and Biden, hey, I would love to be your new vice president. I'm a woman, I would be great. So we'll see what ends up coming out of them. Now, according to Newsweek, The Sun and other Russian news outlets, Vladimir Putin has just ordered weapons of mass destruction. These are new nuclear torpedoes with radiation poisoning technology. Now the weapon is the Poseidon radioactive torpedo, they already exist. But according to these news outlets, he's just ordered a bunch of new ones to be loaded into torpedoes that go all over the world. The blast is powered by a nuclear warhead that can be detonated on command versus only on impact. So from one side of Putin's mouth, he is saying we don't want nuclear war with NATO or the United States or Europe. From the other side, he's building new nuclear weapons with horrible destruction power. So no countries are really building nuclear weapons anymore, and he's just ordered a bunch of them to be made for his submarines. Now, There's so much going on in the world today. One of the big predictions from Gerald Celente from the Trends Journal is that the United States will end up in war. Heck, a top Air Force leader just said the United States will be going to war with China in less than 2 years. Now, China is constantly working to unseat the US dollar as the world reserve currency and the global petrodollar, while leaders like Vladimir Putin are actively telling their citizens to dump the US dollar and to buy gold and silver. Now, the truth is the world will likely decode de-globalize very soon. One of the biggest factors will be the United States losing access to cheap Middle Eastern oil. Not only did this prop up the United States and make oil and gas cheaper here at home, but it gave the US military cheap fuel in order to patrol the world oceans that will be gone soon. And getting access to many everyday items will also go with it, which means we'll need to bring those items to be produced here in North America. Now, as countries around the world retract and become more populous, this will affect the hegemony of the US dollar. Now, one of the best plays in the last 6 months with your money has actually been silver. It's up close to 30% in just the last 5 months. Now, I want to take a minute to tell you about a company that I'm very bullish on and see big things in their near future. The group is Dolly Varden Silver, and their ticker symbol is DOLLF. Now, some big things are happening with this mining group, and it's pushing their stock up rapidly while indexes are falling or struggling to maintain their gains. And just 7 hours ago, mining fines were publicly announced. According to Yahoo Finance, this group has so many big things going on for them. First, they are sitting on a ton of silver and gold in the ground on a property within the Golden Triangle of Canada. Second, big money is starting to jump in on the stock because of the findings that they're announcing and also the way that they're positioned. I'll tell you more about that. Now, in the past few months, there's been some huge moves made. Fidelity, the retirement behemoth, took a 7.5% private ownership in Dolly Varden Silver, and to my knowledge, they've never done this until the findings have actually been announced. So what is it that they know that made them jump in with such a large position in pre-production? Secondly, billionaire Eric Sprott, the number one moneymaker of silver, bought 10% private ownership in the stock, so he must be witnessing something that we're not. Lastly, Hecla Mining, the most lucrative silver mining group in North America, also bought a 10% private ownership in Dolly Varden Silver, so something is going on. They know something and they're putting their money where their mouth is. Now, the stock is already up 40%. However, analysts believe that it's still undervalued and has a true value of closer to $1.60 a share. Dolly Varden could be sitting on one of the biggest silver veins we've seen in a long time, and Fidelity, Sprott, and Hecla Mining seem to think so too. In fact, Hecla Mining owns the mine next door to Dolly Varden. So it's not crazy to speculate that there could be a merger and acquisition in the near future, as Hecla Mining already has 10% ownership. They might want to just buy the rest out, which means you would then end up owning Hecla Mining by being absorbed in, or they might just sell that silver off for a nice profit. And then, in a touchy moment yesterday, while Trump was conducting rallies in New Hampshire and also South Carolina, he had a moment when he visited a restaurant after the rally and came in and ordered food and was showed the people around. That restaurant showed how much they love the president, how much they love Trump, and how much Trump can still connect with so many people. This was a touching moment, a moment that reveals the humanity side of President Donald Trump, what he often shows most times when he's out and about, especially meeting with just regular folk who are doing regular jobs, that in this case in fast food restaurant, right, where he shows that he is willing to take part in their conversations and in their lives and at that very moment that they're in. So this was a very refreshing moment. I think a lot of people tend to forget how compassionate Trump can be when he is out with the American people. Of course, the mainstream media refuses to cover any of these types of interactions because it would paint him in a light that they have never covered him in. Right, they've always covered them in Orange Man bad and he's a Nazi commie or Nazis Russian sympathizer with Putin, right? That's how they've always portrayed them. So portraying him anything outside of that will go against their agenda and their narrative. However, there's many instances when Trump has had these interactions with everyday folk. And yes, before anybody else says, if you're watching, you're like, well, Biden interact with people. Yeah, he's like he tries to sniff them. He tries to sniff people. President Trump is going around sniffing little girls like Biden is trying to locate the youngest child in the room and go have a conversation with that young child and touch them inappropriately. Yeah, that's totally not the same anyway. A worker hold Trump's hand and prays for him in his visit to Columbia, South Carolina restaurant Zesto. I've never been there. I wonder if any of you guys who are watching right now are in South Carolina and can tell me how good this restaurant is. Zesto may visit it one day next time I go through. South Carolina says President Trump spent a full day on the road on Saturday, traveling and giving speeches in New Hampshire and South Carolina for his 2024 presidential campaign. Trump finished today with retail politics stop at the iconic Zesto of West Columbia restaurant in South Carolina, where he was well received and even prayed over. So here's a picture of President Trump being prayed over by this woman right here in the shot here at Zesto's. And you see this. She's praying for the president. It says another Trump aide Margot Martin posted a video of justice worker taking Trump's hand and praying for him. Jason Miller also posted photos as well as did several reporters. Trump makes it stop at Zesto's in South Carolina and orders a chocolate dip cone after his speech, engaging some traditional retail politics as he usually swaps for large-scale rallies. Yeah. So let's go and take a look at that video. Go ahead. Bring it up. Awesome. So here we go. I'm gonna go put this up here on the screen. So let's take a listen. You recommend? There you go. What a wonderful moment caught on camera. Just a regular person, a regular employee of a fast food restaurant praying over the President of the United States. What a wonderful picture, wonderful video of how he connects with these individuals on a personal level. So just a reminder out there for many of us that may have forgotten that he does have this side of him that again the media decides never to show anybody. What a touching moment. Absolutely loved us. Thanks for joining us on today's episode of Open Source News. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss a thing.